Hi, Talia. Can you hear me?
I can't, that's why mine's down. It's not washed, but I can't get it back, yeah. I have to wait till it grows like another inch before I can put it back. There's no point in even trying for me.
Probably halfway through, I'll have these little tentacles. See, there it goes.
Yeah, I can't even.
I got a haircut. It doesn't fit up. We'll try.
Yeah, either that or you just pull the top part and you have a mullet in the back, you know.
Everybody's so quiet. Everybody's quiet, Larry. You gotta liven this group up.
They're centering. That was a crazy day too, with the bike ride and.
Yeah. He went down Christian Street earlier.
Yeah, I came over the street as the sag wagon was going through. You know, you don't want to be in front of that thing. I have to go to a party today with a bunch of Mets fans. Yeah. Yeah.
Go Dodgers, go cheer for the Dodgers.
You know, I don't always want to be a hater, but my family hates on the Phillies. So I can't root for your team now when you don't root for mine, right? Like, so I'm like, no. Like everyone else. Now I'm like, fuck the Mets, right?
Is it your family that's Mets fans?
Yeah. Yeah.
My husband's a Yankees fan.
I got some Yankees too. Yeah.
And when we played them in the World Series, I told him he couldn't, if he actively rooted against the Phillies, I wouldn't cook for him for a year. He wore a red Phillies shirt.
That's it. Anything you want to do today?
Quads.
Okay.
I do lower back.
That'll go good with quads. Yep. All right. I talked about this yesterday. So whenever we're in like a lunge or even more when the knee is down, the common tendency that wants to happen is the front of the thigh wants to go forward, right? And the top of the thigh should be going back. So how does that happen? Well, if you think about it, we want to work the seesaw. So pretend I don't have a wrist, right? If this goes down, this goes up, right? If this goes down, this goes up, and that always happens. If I went this way, right, and then this is going this way, then I go this way, and it's always going to be like that, right? So when I'm in this position here, if the knee goes back, which way is the thigh going to go? Forward, right? And we want exactly the opposite. We want to pull forward from low so that the top goes back. And then you hear something like the sit bone should be reaching back behind you as compared to this. Now, this feels like something though, right? It's a pretty intense feeling. It's just the wrong feeling. What it is your femur, there's the head of the femur, right? And it's pushing into the front of your thigh there. So yes, is it some kind of strong feeling? It is. It's just the wrong thing. We're looking to try to get fibers that are like this to lengthen this way, right? That's what we're going for. So think about that. Like, is that easy? No, because gravity's awesome at its job, right? So it's always going to pull you down. You have to work the muscle energy this way and then sit bone back as compared to sit bone forward. Right? So we'll play with it a little bit because when we get into some of those deeper quad stretches, that's going to happen, right? We're going to put the knee down and we're going to reach back and then we got to make sure we don't crumble. You always want to think you want to rebound off of gravity, right? Root to rise is like one of those phrases you hear in yoga all the time. Push down, right? And you rise up. So that's what you want to think. Gravity, you're using gravity. You want that opposing force, right? So you can feel, and then that's how you get the engagement. So let's play. Take a nice seat. Close the eyes. Even here, sit up tall. So what does that look like if gravity wins in this position? Well, what tends to happen is the belly's going to crunch. Your shoulders are going to come forward. They're going to round. They're going to go up and forward. Your head is going to fall forward as your chin kind of collapses to the floor. Now, that's gravity winning. So we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to sit up tall. We're going to feel our low back go in and up, our lumbar spine. You'll notice if you collapse to the floor, it was going out and down. We're going in and up. Now we're sitting up a little bit taller. Now we're going to take a nice breath up and through the ribs, a big inhale. And then exhale, we're going to kind of roll the shoulders back a little bit. And you're going to feel them go back and down just a touch. We don't want to pinch them like all the way down, but we don't want them up in the air either. We don't want to squeeze them to the midline, but we don't want them coming forward either. So find where the sweet spot is. Now lean back. You'll feel the sit bones start to root, and you'll feel the muscles running up your spine start to activate. Now slide your throat back. Now you really feel a bunch of work happening in the back of the neck. If you took your hand and you felt behind your neck, now we got like that natural curve back to the neck. The chin comes down just a little bit. And now breathe. Try to hold this space. So on the inhale, feel that big expansion, that lift. And then the exhale, even though you're getting a settling through the shoulders and as the head settles back, feel the belly engage as it draws in. And now find your breath. From listening to yourself breathe, to slowing down the beginning of the inhale and pushing more on the end of the exhale, to counting out the breath. 2 or 3 seconds for the inhale, 2 or 3 seconds for the exhale, all the way to Ujjayi breath. Where is it that you want to settle into this moment? Notice if you're leaning forward again. If you are, just set it all back up. Lean back, take those shoulders back, the head and the throat, and then support the space. Next inhale, let the arms lift. The exhale, bring the thumbs and the pinkies and the pointer fingers, the ring fingers and the middle fingers to root. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together, the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. Okay, let's start out in child's pose. So child's pose, our toes are going to touch, our knees are going to go wide to the edges of the mat. So now the knees bent, So we're already kind of working a little bit in the quads. We're still flexed in the hip, right? But low, we're in that closed knee position. Arms are overhead. Yep, start clawing the floor a little bit so fingertips and knuckle pads are getting heavy. Now start to activate this child's pose a little bit. So let the forearms lift up, let the inner biceps lift up, and then slide your throat back so your your forehead comes off the mat. And now you start to feel the muscles in the neck and in your upper back starting to work again. Now pull your belly in and your shutters closed a little bit, and then just gently soften your chest down towards the mat. And you get this nice opener come up the arms, side bodies, chest. And just breathe. Feel those lats starting to open up, middle, upper back. One more breath. Next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, knees an inch or two behind your hips. Little micro bend in your elbows. Be careful you're not hyperextending. Little micro bend, squeeze your biceps. That'll help hold that in place. Keep sweeping the heels out and hugging the shins in. Pulling your heels to your butt. Bring your belly button to your spine. Yeah, bring those shutters to close. So now we feel real strong in our belly. Low mountain. Breathe. Start to feel that organic expansion starting to happen. So with breath as you peel yourself apart. And then from here, oscillating cat-cows. So inhale, you're taking the hips up, back, and around. You could even like look up. Then on the exhale, you're bringing them forward and under. You could even look under. Now, if you're new to this, oscillating cat-cow, work the hips. Because we're trying to clear the lumbar spine right here with these movements. The whole spine, because we're taking it through its full range of motion. But this is a good move just to get into that lumbar. Move slow with your breath. So if the inhale's 2 seconds, how long it takes to work the hips up and back. If the exhale, how long it takes to bring them forward and under. Right? So link the breath to movement. And then swap into your side too. Stay with the breath. Feels nice through the pelvis, through the hips there. We got a few more to do here on side two. And then after you do another one, come to a neutral position, so find that flat back again. Take a couple breaths. When you're ready, step back to plank. So use the plank here to start to fire up. Feel what is gravity trying to do? Pull you to the floor. What are you trying to do? Push down to keep yourself lifting up. Now hold that. Now bring the hips up, push back to downward dog. Hold that. Remember, keep what you built up. Now, the more you push your, same rule. So we're still hugging the forearms in, right? We're still lifting the inner forearms and the inner biceps. You're still sliding the head and the throat back. But see, it's tough if we're trying to hold ourselves up with our weight in our arms, right? So let's get it into the legs a little bit. Push your hands down and forward towards the front of the room, and it's going to start taking your chest back towards your toenails. You start putting the weight into the legs a little bit more. Now that you're in the legs, maybe start to stretch them. Reach from the hips, down the back of the legs, out of the bottom of the heels. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. And really squeeze those shoulders back. Take them down away from your ears. Then after your 3 breaths, lower the chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Now in downward dog, if you want to make this a little more accessible, Bend the knees a little bit. Then as you push the hands down and forward, it'll be a little easier to get the weight back into the legs. If the first one was more your flavor, stay there. If the second one is more your flavor, go there. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take those 3 nice breaths. Keep dragging your hands back to you like you're trying to pull your belly forward. And then remember, take those shoulders back and down. And then after the 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest, push up through plank, and back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. So hugging the knee to the chest. That's us starting to engage hip flexors a little bit more, right? So that's warming them up. We're going to get ready to stretch this left side when we come up into Warrior One shortly, right? But let's start to build it up first. So take a couple breaths, get that foundation set up. So the knee's on top of the ankle. It's in line with the second toe on the front. Back leg, the heel's pointing straight up to the sky. It's probably trying to fall in this way. So you might have to sweep it out that little bit and start hugging in. So the first thing is we push down, right? Then we're pulling the front heel back and the back toes forward and the shins are coming in. And then we're pulling up from pelvic floor, those chakras, right? From root all the way up through crown. And then inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana, one crescent. See, I've always taught Virabhadrasana crescent because it's, as you sweep the heel out and it points straight up, you go neutral here in the pelvis. If you're a classic Virabhadrasana and you got your heel down, that's okay. But this is going to bring a little more freedom here. Now, when you pull the belly button in, you're going to feel that this stretch already gets better on the front of the thigh. Now, pull the shutters closed. Yep. Now, like you're squeezing a beach ball between your forearms. Now, spread your fingers. There. Now, keep going up. Maybe even curl back into the pose as you soften into the lead knee just a little bit. Yep. Awesome. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, step back, downward dog. Remember, you got to find like the posture, like the parts of the posture that feel good to you. Right? We're all the same, but we're all a little different. That's the cool part. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, lunge. Notice this front knee, right, wants to do this for a lot of us, right? So we're going to have to bring a little bit of widening out to track the second toe. Just like for some of us, it's trying to do this, right? Blow out the side. So we're going to hug in a little bit more. So find where the balance has to be for you. And then let's start working it. So we're pushing down, we're hugging, right? But at the same time, we got to express this pose. This pose expresses by the heel reaches back and the knee reaches forward and the crown of the head, right? We're breathing side to side. Now keep collecting the power. That's the game, right? Muscle and organic. And then inhale, come up. Virabhadrasana, one crescent. Keep the power in the legs. Find the freedom of the pose in the curl back, in the reach up. Yeah, that's the play. In the legs, same thing. Heel back, knee reaches forward. Yep, maybe as you curl back, one more breath, come into that lead knee. And then exhale the hands down, step back, downward dog. Awesome, crew. Inhale, come forward to plank. Work on your breath, not my voice. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog 2 more times. Nice pace, y'all. That's staying with the breath, right? We'll meet back in downward dog. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, big reach. Right, now here's how we protect the low back. As your arms come up, right, this is naturally trying to happen. So see how my heels are real light? Got to get your heels heavy. So that's going to take the weight back. Then we go inner thighs back. So it's like from here, I'm trying to shoot this way, right? So now this is back. Now I take sacrum back. I keep my ribs down here, right? My belly's in and my ribs. So see how nice and puffed I am? Now maybe curl back. And as you curl back, keep going up and back instead of back and down. And that's how you stay out of the lumbar, because the back bends happen in thoracic spine anyway, right? Right here. One more breath. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to the tops of your thighs. Sit back. Bring the heel of your hand right here to the crease of your hip. Here's the attachment, the hip bone. We're trying to persuade this down a little bit. Pull the belly in, shudders, shoulders back and down. Yep, head and throat back. Push down, rise up, take the arms up overhead. Right hand grabs that left wrist, plug that right leg up if you want to play with the balance. Then take that little side bend to the right. Yep. Keep breathing here. Rooting down into the heel and then peeling above the waist. Next inhale, come back up. Swap the hands and the foot if you're working the balance. Plug up. Then take that hip out to the right just a little bit as you side bend to the left. Head and throat back. Arms are back. Yep. And now breathe. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Tadasana, mountain pose, right? Just with a variation of the shoulder stretch. So everything right now, super engaged. Now take a big inhale and fill the ribs before you pull the shoulders back. And then on the exhale, draw those shoulders back. Yep. And then if the hands want to come away from the back. So scapular retraction, which means like your shoulder blades do this, go hand in hand with anterior pelvic tilt. Think of the seesaw. If I force this back, what's this going to want to do? It's going to want to force forward, right? So it makes a challenge when we do this. Keep rooting back. Exhale, release, swing the arms up. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. Right hand stays down, left elbow draws back, take the twist. Power in the legs. Spin the right shoulder back. It's going to try to come forward. Let's go like this. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center. Step forward. Keep the knees bent. Reach the left leg back. Yeah, find your lunge first, right? Your breath. When you're ready, left hand stays down, right elbow draws back. Keep hugging that right knee in. It's going to try to blow out the side, so adduct it. Hug to the midline. Now breathe forward out of the crown of your head as you reach back out of your heel. You're going to get tall. And then open the chest a little bit more. Yes. Inhale, come back to center. Step forward. Swing the arms up. Take a big reach. Maybe curl back into it. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front, Anjali Mudra. Nice, y'all. Right leg forward, left leg back, triangle. Pretty big step back. But remember, we measured off our Warrior 2 or our Parsva leg. We tend to always go short when we step in triangle, right? There's like, oh, this feels pretty good. But let's see what happens if I went into my Warrior or my Parsva. Look how short I'd be. Right? Look, my knee's supposed to be on top of my ankle, so I want to be a lot longer here like this. Then when I come up into my triangle, that's going to be my neutrals, because we're going to link them, right? They're going to link together. So here we go. Take a nice breath here. Start to get tall, hips to armpit. We want to clear this front right hip crease. That way you can side bend into it when you're ready. Bring the hands down to the block or the floor. Now keep the power in those legs. Open up that right side body, because the side crescent's trying to happen. Don't let it. That's the misalignment. Open it up. Yup. Now go belly and ribs, and then maybe start to rotate. So as the top of the ribs go back, the bottom of the ribs are going forward, right? There's that kind of seesaw from the other way there. Then maybe you play with the balance by looking up the arm. Yes? And then push into your front heel and come up tall. And then bend into your lead knee to Warrior 2. Here's where we're linking them, right? Now elbow goes to thigh. And sweep the bicep up along the cheek and extended side angle. keep that left thigh from coming forward. So you're reaching your butt back on the left side. The right side sit bone is going down to the heel. That's how the knee's widening out to the right. Maybe hand down to the block or the floor. Go for it. Yep. Now, inhale, come up, warrior two. Take a breath. Then step forward. Let the hands meet. Anjali Mudra. Nice, y'all. Side two, left leg forward, right leg back. If you have to adjust, right, in the pose, it's happening, try to move the back foot. Try to adjust from the back foot. So here we go, right? Get nice and, find your distance and then get nice and tall. Clear this front left hip crease. Keep this thigh back. Keep this hip back. When you're ready, hinge at the left side. Keep spinning the shoulder back on the left side. It's going to try to come forward, spin it back. Now engage that right arm. Like if I'm pushing on you, push back on me. Push on me. No, this way. You okay with the touch? Yeah, push on me. Push. You feel that?
Yeah.
That. Feel that coming up? Yeah. Awesome. Maybe look up. Yes. Now push into that front foot. Come up tall. Feel that just like sent energy, like through that upper body. Then bend into the lead knee. Bring the elbow to the thigh, sweep the bicep along the cheek. So this is what we were doing, right? Like if I came up to Trina here and I push up, she's pushing down. If I push down, she's hugging up. Like it's engagement both sides, right? Like solid here. But at the same time, soften your face, right? And express the pose out. Take the hand down to the block or the floor if you want. Yes. And then take that last breath. As you then push into that front heel, come up tall, warrior two. Yep. When you're ready, step forward. Yes. Swing the arms up. Take a big breath. Curl back into it. Awesome, y'all. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. If you want to stay static, you're holding the pose. If you want to be a little more dynamic, like with the breath, as you inhale, look forward, charge your legs, and lengthen your spine, like you're peeling your spine out of your waist. Then on the exhale, go ahead and fold into the pose a little more. And you could do that with every breath. If you're feeling better holding the pose, great. If you're feeling better working more active, same great. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. Yeah, nice, y'all. Good pace. Yup, stay with the breath. Don't get ahead of it. It's easy to happen, right? I tell you all the time. This shit I ask you to do isn't easy. Staying with your breath, this is hard. Because it's so easy to just like move through, right? Yoga's so mindful. Yep, and then from here, lower your knees, sit back on your heels, grab a drink, take a little break. Awesome, y'all. You want to go child's pose, go child's pose. If you want to sit back on Vajrasana, Vajrasana, hero's pose, whatever feels good. Take a couple breaths, drink. I'll tell you what, let's meet in hero's pose. Okay? We'll meet in hero's pose. So in hero's pose, the space between our knees will all be different, but everybody, the outsides of our shins will all be parallel with the sides of our mat. Maybe unsickle your feet, right? You might have to like turn them out a little bit. Sometimes I even manually spread my toes, right? Like I open them all up. Whatever feels good to you. But notice as you unsickle your feet, right, what should have happened is your sit bones got a little closer to the floor. Now, if your butt doesn't touch, no problem. Put the blanket or the block underneath you, the bolster. Now, as you flick your toenails into the floor, start to hug in. So we're adducting to get a little stability here. Pull your pelvic floor up. Yep, pull your belly button in. Pull your shutters closed. Then take your right hand, go behind you, and your left hand to the outside of your thigh, and take the twist. Don't lose hugging those knees in. Keep working the shutters closed in the twist so we get that good rotation through the spine. Inhale, come back to center. Take a breath. When you're ready, take the left hand behind. Right hand goes across to the outside of the thigh. Keep sitting up tall on the inhale. Yep. And then twist into the pose. One more breath. And then inhale, come back to center. Next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. And then just reach the right leg back, open up the knee and the hip. We're going to get a little deeper in those, right? That was kind of one of our first, a little more challenging there. Lower it down, quad stretches. And then we'll swap side two, left leg back. And then lower it down. All right, take a breath here. When you're ready, step back to plank. Yeah, these look good. So what's gravity trying to do? Pull you down. What are you trying to do? Push your way back up. So keep pushing down. You want to push down in your fingertips and your knuckle pads. You want the heels of your hands to stay light. What wants to happen here? The misalignment. It wants to all go in the heels of the hands, right? So what you got to do is you got to keep pulling your fingers to your knuckle pads, right? So see how light I am in the heels of my hands? Because I'm driving all the weight into my fingertips and my knuckle pads. Now bring your belly to your spine. Yep. Now lengthen your sit bones towards your heel. See, it wants to do this. You got to go this way. Boop. Keep breathing. Trina, where are we at?
A minute.
A minute? Okay, lower to your bellies. Take your right hand underneath your chest, bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand. Now, pelvic neutrality first. So we're going to hug in, then we're going to bring our belly button to our spine, and we're going to push our pubic bone or our junk into the yoga mat. Yep. Now, if you still feel this in your low back as you draw your heel to your sit bone, bring your forehead to your forearm. And that'll totally neutralize your spine, and it should feel a lot better in those. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, like, see, Trina's drawing her belly in towards her spine, and her sit bones here need to go this way, down. Now, right, that brings this which way? If these are going down, which is this coming? It's coming up, right? This is the top of her pelvis. So we're getting that neutral pelvis. Like if this was it here, right? It wanted to do this. We're going to go this way, belly to spine, sit bones down. Exhale, release, swap side two. And that shit sounds easy, and it's not, right? It's challenging. But like when we talk about, especially in a physical sense, of yoga, like changing our life off the mat, right? This is definitely one of them. You got to keep that pelvis in a neutral position. And there's so many things that are pulling us out, right? Dominating the front body. So belly to spine. Now, hamstrings are going to be part of the key. Now, on the right leg, because your knee is bent, your hamstrings are engaging. So that might be a little bit easier to kind of feel. But on the left side, it's like you're pulling your heel to your butt to your heel. So if I came up to Trina and I pushed her heel down, she's going to kind of pull her heel to the ceiling. You feeling that? And then that starts to shoot right up into there. Exhale, release. Does that make sense to everybody? Right, like that shit I'm asking you, like I said, is not easy. This is not Yoga 101 either. We are talking about some like, see what your pelvis needs to do is not just go belly button in, but like you could see I actually have to shift, a posterior shift, my whole pelvis back. See how this whole thing goes back this way? Now that might be a little too much, but just like that wasn't enough. So where do things usually meet? Right in the middle, right? Come on, let's try it. So set it up. Bring your hands along the side so your thumbs are like middle of your chest, nipple line. Take your shoulders back. Curl your toes. Now start to charge up your legs. Now pull your belly button in, and when you come up off the ground, you're going to go sit bones, right? You're going to pop up. You're going to go sit bones to heels, chaturanga. Go ahead, take a breath. Pop up chaturanga. Yep. Now push up plank. Same thing. Belly in, sit bones down. Take a breath. Nice, y'all. Push back, downward dog. Yeah. You feel the difference when you neutralize that pelvis in the lumbar spine? That's how you could do those little pop back to chaturangas, and they're supposed to be making you stronger, not like eating up your low back. But the middle of the back is the middle of the bridge, and that brings the challenge. Work through one vinyasa. So even here, feel it now. Now you got that idea of how you have to neutralize. When you come out of that cobra, you got to go belly in, sit bones to the backs of the knees that little bit. That's really why I say to y'all, lower the chest or pop back to chaturanga. It's so that you don't push back from a back bend, because that, for a lot of us, will just go right to our lumbar spine. Roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front. Turn the bicep forward so you root into the shoulder. Now, to play with the quads here, Kapinjalasana is going to hug left knee to your chest, and you're going to grab your ankle or your foot. Yep. Now, you're going to curl back like you're going back to Wild Thing, but you're not going to drop back. You're going to curl back. You're going to kick the leg back into the hand as you draw the hand into the foot. Watch the boing as you release. Nice, Catherine. Inhale, come back to center. Push back, downward dog. Take a breath. It's a challenging pose, right? Roll to the outside of the left foot, stack the right foot on top or in front. So, right, if I was going into Wild Thing, I would drop back here. I'm trying to not let that happen. I'm trying to kind of float in that space. So when you turn the bicep forward, get the friends in the game. Push out of the big toe mounts for the leg. Then left knee goes towards your chest. Right knee to your chest, sorry. Right hand back to, left would have been interesting. You know, I've been waiting years to see somebody levitate. Please, maybe curl back. Watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, stay with this, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. Yes, y'all, beautiful. And then from downward dog, exhale, lower your knees one more time. Take a little break. Nice. Kapinjalasana, a little longer hold in our side plank. Nice, y'all. All right, when you're ready, we'll meet all fours, hands and knees. Take a couple breaths. And when you're ready, step back to plank and then downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee. We're going to go to twisted monkey. This is a pose I've been doing with y'all over the past couple weeks, right? So we're going to walk our left foot out towards the right edge, our right foot out to the right edge of our mat, and we're going to turn our toes open a little bit. I'm just going to make it a little more accessible here. Then you're going to bend your left knee and reach back with your right hand to grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. You might have to shift back in order to get that to happen. Now, we talked about this situation earlier today, right? You're going to take your left hand out. You want your thumb to be in line with your big toe. So walk your left hand forward so your thumb's in line with your big toe. That'll make your left side body nice and long. Now take your left hand out to the edge of your mat, maybe even off the mat a little bit so you can lean back into it. Yeah, there we go. Now keep taking the left shoulder back because it's going to try to do this. So go this way, right? Take it back. Yep. Now, drag the knee forward. What's the top of the thigh supposed to be doing here? Going back, right? And what's it trying to do? Fall forward. So you got to keep dragging your back knee forward so you don't dump into the front of that left hip. Now keep reaching forward out of the crown of your head so your spine gets long. Yep. Twist open a little deeper. Now draw that left heel towards that left sit bone, and that quad stretches, gets a whole lot better. Watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to center. Place the hand down, wiggle the foot back in, lift the knee, downward dog. Yep. Stay nice and focused and solid as you come out of that, right? Big opener there. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee. And then this time we'll go left foot out to the left edge of your mat. You could turn the toes open. And as you bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand. Right thumb in line with your right big toe. Because if our side body's not long, where are we twisting into, right? Nowhere. So when we lengthen that side body out, now we can rotate into the pose. So take that left shoulder back, open the left side of your chest to the sky. Spin the right shoulder back, because remember, that's the kickstand. Now, as you it's not symmetrical. Your right hip is lower than your left, but you're not collapsing that right hip to the floor. You're keeping it suspended by dragging the back knee forward, by taking the top of the right thigh back. Yep. And then as you twist a little deeper, maybe draw the heel a little bit further and play with the pose. One more breath. Awesome. Y'all watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to center. Wiggle the foot back in. Lift the back knee, downward dog. Pedal, swivel, wiggle a little bit. Opening up some deep stuff here. Come to neutral. Work through one vinyasa. And then from downward dog, lower the knees. We're going to go to like Longhorn, which is Gomukhasana without the arms. Okay? So if you want to play with the arms, you certainly can. I'm using this more for the shape and to get into the back of the hip, but you certainly can. So we're going to go from all fours, bring your knees to the midline, especially if you're tight. This is going to be the trick. Then take your right leg over your left and get it real nice and tight. This is my tight spot in my hips, so you're going to see when I sit back, my knees are going to pull apart. But right now, I'm going to start with them as tight as possible so they're in as best position that they can be. Now, take your feet out to the sides. Now, sit back between your heels. And see how, like, yeah, my knees are pulling apart, but I'm holding them as close as I can. Now, reach down to your left sit bone. You're going to pull it back and out to the side. And then on the right side, when you pull the sit bone back, you could even take your hand and turn your thigh in a little bit. And it widens that area out. Now, this is the Longhorn part, right? With the horns out to the side. So you can sit up nice and tall because we don't want to crunch our belly. Remember, we talked about that earlier. So sit up nice and tall. When you hinge forward, hinge at your hip crease. So this is me at my hip crease. This is me at my belly. See the difference? So I don't want to look at my knee, right? I want to look out. I'm not going to get out there, but that's where I want to look. And then as my head and throat go back, I let my chest come down first. That's enough work right there, right? Opposing forces, because what wants to happen? So this way. And then Gomukhasana, if you want to do the arms, it's left arm. So you're going to go left arm in because it's opposite of your right knee. More here. And then the right hand comes out to the side, fingernails forward. Start to wiggle up. Or you drop the strap from this left hand down into your right. Yep. And same rules apply. You can stay up tall. You could even start to hinge, wherever you want to express the pose to. Now, if you're holding the arms, control it as you release. Then unwind that top leg, spin around into that all fours, and then come to that neutral position. And then we'll do that on the side too. So bring your knees together first, and then swap. So like breakdance move that we do, that's going to make it a little more challenging, right? Because here you're able to set the foundation a little bit stronger. Breakdance move, it might try to pull it apart a little bit, but again, we play where we want to play in the moment. Then feet go out, and then I sit back. And as I'm sitting back, I'm hugging in this way. And then reach down to that right side. It's the bottom side first. You'll notice as soon as you move the bottom side out, the top side actually gets closer. Then when you do the top side, it starts to root a little bit better. And then sit up nice and tall. Yep. And then if you want to here, just hinge forward a little bit. Chest leads the parade. Like that's work right there. As you're going forward, you're sliding throat back and letting chest come down. And then if you want to work into the shoulders on that side too, now that our left knee is up, our right elbow has to be up, right? We can't be the same side here because we'll be off balance. Here we're balancing the sides by then bringing the right elbow up. And then left fingernails out, start to wiggle the hand up or drop the strap from your right hand into your left this time. And then if you want to stay up tall, stay up tall. If you want to take that little bit of a hinge forward, take the hinge forward. But keep taking this on this right arm. If you're working the shoulders, take the shoulder back here. That's how you're going to get your hands to clasp more. And then watch the boing as you come out of the shoulders. Then control it as you come out of the hips. Through the legs, come to all fours. And just reach the right leg back. Open up the knee and the hip. Lower it down. Take the left leg back, or wherever your side 2 is. And then lower it down. We'll meet all fours. Take a breath or two. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips. We'll start in plank if you want to. We're ultimately going to meet in downward dog. So wherever feels good to you. You need to, if you want to stop in that plank momentarily to pull that energy up like we did today, pause in that plank. If you want to go right back to your downward dog, go for it. When you're ready, we'll all meet back in downward dog. Swivel to the outside of the right foot, inside of the left. Yep, keep the hands down. Just open up that side body there. Yep. Inhale, come back to center. Swivel to the outside of the left, inside of the right. Inhale, come back to center. Work through one vinyasa. Take the feet together, walk back, come to a squat. We got a couple twists in today, so we'll play with that twisted crow today, okay? So this is crow. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to twist it, okay? So we start here high on like the balls of our feet, and then you're going to inhale, take your arms up. You're going to twist towards the brick wall, and you're going to bring your hands down, just like downward dog. So if my mat was here, probably my 2 fingers would be hanging off the mat for sure. Now, my arm is against my knee, right? But I want to get my knee as high above my elbow as I can. So the little trick is take your knees out to the left and then bend that elbow on the left side. And you should feel like your knees went higher than your elbow. Now, come up high on your tippy toes. As you bend both elbows, you're going to wedge the outside of the leg on the outside of the arm. Yeah, come up high on your tippy toes to get your hips up. Yep. There's Ekapada Kunyanyasana 1. Then if both legs come together, yeah, bring your legs towards me. Yes, yes. There's Dvipada. Yes, there's Dvipada. So you can link them up. And then when you're ready, pop out. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Is it challenging? Of course. right? None of this shit is easy. It's not meant to be easy, right? It's meant to always challenge you. That's the idea, right? Yoga's there for you. It already knows, right, what you need. It gives the offerings. It's just your job if you want to dive into it or not. All right, come on, let's try side two. So high on the balls of your feet. So I have seen things like this before, okay? Most of y'all know I'm not really a big fan of bringing people up high because I feel like if you're already nervous down low, it's not going to make it any easier up here, right? So I have seen this to get more space, right? So now I'm higher up on my elbow. Now, for some of you, this might work. So I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying for me, I try to think of the heart, the mind, and the body, right? So when you play with this, remind yourself, I'm setting myself up to make space, right, in a good way. These are progressions to my practice, not regressions. So if this helps you, that is something you might see around of to get you a little more space. Let's go side two together. So here we go. Take the arms up. Then twist towards the wall with the window and the door. Then bring the hands down. Your arms along, right next to your knee. But then you're going to take your knees towards the brick wall so you can bend the elbow a little more. Now, see, my elbows are my forearms kind of going back a little bit, and I needed to go straight up and down. So that's where I go high on my tippy toes to get that little bit of space. Then I can bend the elbows as I wedge the outside of the leg on the outside of the arm. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah. Yeah. And then you play wherever the pose feels good. I think a couple weeks ago, right, we were doing like I was doing like the unwind. So we were going twisted crow, Ekapada Kunyasana 1, Dvipada, Ekapada Kunyasana 1, twisted crow, and back out, right? So there's like, it never ends. I think I was telling you all this week, I was saying like balance. Oh, you can do balance, right? And it's no problem. Close your eyes, right? Inversion. Your inversion is effortless. Close your eyes, right? Like there's always going to be something for you to go to. So speaking of inversions, grab your mats. Let's go upside down.
I started to lose my balance in the very beginning of Kapilasthana. The entire time it was like all energy. Like, I'm not
Just hanging on.
lose it.
That's the good shit. That's the work, right? That's what I'm always like, that's the work.
I just started making those, I'm like, oh, and it was a long hold. And I was like,
It was a long hold. All right, so if you're at home, you don't have the wall to kick up on, right? You can always lay on your back. You bend your knees, interlace your hands behind your thighs, right? You take a bunch of breaths here as the heel reaches to the sky, and then you swap. If you are at home or in the studio, and it's not your day to invert, you're always welcome to go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you, okay? I'm going to talk everyone into downward dog and L pose. If you want to work on your own, headstand, handstands, tripods, headstand to twisted crow, okay? You can work any of those. Trina's walking around, so if you have any questions, grab her right away. And once I get everybody up, you'll see me cruising around as well. Grab me if you want, okay? So if you're going to work on your own, go for it. If you're going to stick with me, all fours, hands and knees, that low mountain. And then take a couple breaths, lift the knees and the hips, short downward dog. When you're ready, maybe step 1 foot up the wall and just check in. You still feel good, step the 2nd foot up the wall. You need to take a couple more breaths, take a couple more breaths. And then with your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog, inverted, and with your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. Good, Jen. Keep going. Keep hugging the knees of the chest. Yes, yes, yes. Now look forward, like you're scraping your forehead forward. Forward, forward, forward. Yes. Dude, that's closer than what was it, yesterday, day before? Yeah, it's even closer.
I'm looking up.
Looking up, yeah. Yeah, like up and forward. So see, when I come down, I'll just show you in crow because it'll just be easier, right? So when I come like this and I have to come forward, see, I don't just go like this because I'm going to come down. I got to go this way, like I'm scraping my head forward. And it's the same thing here. So like I'm here, and then when I want to come down, right, because I'd ultimately be here, so I got to go this way. So that the weight, because there's not enough weight, this is all the weight, right? So I got to get a little bit of this that I have forward more. That's good, though. That's a super challenging pose. Nice, y'all. Nice, y'all. Keep hugging your elbow. That way you could plug back. Now fire your legs up. Squeeze them. Squeeze them. Keep squeezing. Yeah, like, you okay with the touch? Yeah. Squeeze my fist between your calf muscles. Squeeze me. Squeeze me. You ain't gonna break me. Come on. Yes. That. Now it's this way. Keep squeezing. Don't let me go. Yeah. This way. You feel that? Yeah. That's how you're coming up. That's the organic expansion part. Keep squeezing. You okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Make sense?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's like the part I've been like, I know I can keep my legs up here, like I'm strong enough, but just the engagement.
Yeah. So we're talking about keeping legs engaged in the inversion, right? So what's the furthest away from any kind of connection in an inversion? Your feet, right? And then what's next? Your legs. And they're not going to connect until a good connection up here, right? There's a couple of joints here, but here's where the connection is going to be. So the more that you squeeze them and hug in, the more controlled they're going to be. Because the idea is that you're always trying to go up. Remember we talked about that? Gravity wants to pull us down. In your inversion, you're pushing down and going up. So anything that's engaged is going to be easier to rise. Anything that's unengaged is going to go what way? Down. So it's going to be like heavy weight. And you're going to be working your ass off, right? Trying to get these different things to connect when you just got to get yourself a little lighter. And this is where here's the weight in everybody's body. These are called prime movers. They're big, huge muscles, right? The weight isn't here. The weight isn't here. It's here. So there's a lot you got to keep connected here, right? So if you're going to do another inversion, go for it. If you want to meet on our bellies, you can. Mm-hmm.
It feels like my legs are in the right place, but like I kind of check and they're kind of like,
Nice.
near the mirror, so.
Yeah, I'd say down a hair. Right there. Yep. Now bring chest to the wall. Yep. And keep this with the shutters. Yeah, so keep shutters closing and chest going this way. Yep. And it should feel really tough, like engage here and lots of opening here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Feel the difference. Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's funny like what feels right, but like is it?
Yeah, and especially upside down. That's really tough, right? You're welcome. All right, let's meet on our bellies. So we did some quads today. We did some pelvic neutrality. So we'll hit these bow poses, okay? So bend your knees and reach back, grab your ankles, your feet, or your strap. So the strap would be around like both feet or both ankles. Now, if you can grab your ankles, right, you're going to go into dorsiflexion. See how Trina brought her toes back to her shins? Right, that's just going to give us a little more connection to that back body. Your knees are going to want to splay. Don't let them. So hug your knees into the midline. Adduction. Now, just for this moment, push your knees down and your butt's going to come up. We're just going to use this to get more space. Now, pull your belly button to your spine. Now, bring your pubic bone to the mat. Now, your butt's not in the air anymore, but your low back is nice and open. Now, look forward as you lift the chest. Keep drawing your hands into your feet. Keep kicking your feet or your shins back into your hands. Yep, but don't let the knees splay. They're going to try to. Keep hugging in. Slide the head and the throat back. Yes. One more breath. And then watch the buoying as you release. Take your hands underneath your head. Make a little pillow. Turn your head to one side. And then you could do butt wiggles or reverse windshield wipers, whatever feels good. Everybody clear in the low back on that, on these? Okay. Because where do back bends happen? Thoracic spine. But what's the misalignment? Lumbar. So let's go again. Inhale the head back to center, bend the knees. Reach back, grab the ankles, the feet, or the strap. Then hug your knees in first. Then push your knees down is where your butt comes up for just this moment. When the belly button draws to the spine, in the front of the pelvis, it'd be pubic bone to the mat. In the back of the pelvis, it would be sit bones to the backs of your knees. Now lift the chest. Should feel like you're clear in the lumbar, but you're working in the thoracic. Let the back of the heart come forward through the front of the chest. And now breathe. Yep. Watch the buoying as you release. Place the hands down, swap. So if the left hand was on top, right hand. Turn your head to the other side, and then your reverse windshield wipers or your butt wiggles, whatever feels good. And then come to neutral. Flip over onto your backs. Legs are straight out. Then hug the right knee to your chest. Interlace the hands behind the thigh as you reach the heel to the sky. Keep sweeping. Well, so we talked about this. Really what you're trying to do here is you're trying to take the outside of the thigh forward, right? But if you sweep the heel like in, it's two joints between there, but it will initiate a little bit of external rotation to your thigh, okay? You really want to try to get the thigh to go forward, so you could take your right thumb and bring it like here to like the outside part of the outside crease of the hip and persuade it forward. And it should feel like the outside of your thigh and your hip are moving away from your ribs. Now breathe above your waist. Yep. Now both sides we peel. And then bend the knee, lower down, hug the left knee to your chest. You're trying to root, right, the thigh down, that leg down on that right side. When you're ready, interlace the hands behind the left thigh. So knee bent makes it a little more accessible. Right? Trying to get the back of the right thigh to the floor makes it more challenging. That's more of a full split. The hands, as you're like interlacing your fingers and you're holding the back of your thigh, draw your hands like down your thigh. And you're trying to root that femur into that hip socket a little bit. Trying to just hold the space. And then work that external rotation of the thigh. So it'd be like if I came up to you and I was pulling the outside of your thigh forward in front of you. One more breath. And then bend the knee, lower down, take the arms up overhead, take a big stretch. And hug your knees to your chest. Rock yourself up to a seated position. Let's go half Lord of the Fishes. So you're going to bend your right leg, and you're going to bring it to like the outside of your hip, and your left leg is going to go over the top. Same rules apply, right? You reach down, pull the sit bone out, turn that thigh in a little bit. Now, the common tendency is the big toe mound wants to come up, and then the knee's going to go out to the side. Oblique sling says, obliques on this side to adductor here, they got to pull to one another. So we can't let the knee go out this way, right? That's not going to give us an anchor to pull against. So we want to push the big toe mound down. See how the knee now hugs in and now I hold it there, right? Like I'm hugging in on it. Now take your left hand behind you and your right bent elbow goes to the outside of the, like the top of the knee on the outside of the leg. Now sit up tall. We're twisting to the up knee side. Yep, so whatever knee is up, that's the way you want to twist to. Yeah. Shosh, turn to me. Shoshi, turn to me, towards the right. Yeah, turn this way. Yeah, and the same way. Yep, turn the same way. Yep, there we go. All right, now some of you hit Ekapada Kunyasana 1 out of this. Go for it. So you come back halfway. You place your hands down like downward dog. You're going to lift the hips up to get the outside of that leg to the back of the arm. Then you're going to kick this bottom leg forward and the top leg up and back. Kind of where we were before, right? And then you can link that Dvipada, you could link that twisted crow, whatever the play is. Yep. And then when you're ready, unwind. We'll swap side 2. Break dance move if you want to go over to side 2. Was that a jump through you were going for? Yeah. I haven't seen that in a while. Set yourself up. See, this is the little shit that matters right here, right? Like, if I let my knee go out and then I try to twist, that I'm not letting my body work in its human movement form, right? The idea is that these work together and I create like here's like a pillar and I'm twisting into that pillar, right? So take your right hand behind. When you bring that arm to the outside of the thigh, you could actually hug it in a little bit. So it's going to help you hold that space. And then sit up tall and then twist to that up knee. Yep. And this is a nice opener right through this whole like functional line, the whole outside of the leg here you're feeling, through the hips, and then up the spine. Then if you want to stay here in the twist, stay here. If you're going to hit that arm balance, you just come out of it just a little bit. Hands are out to the side, just like we were, well, you were facing the front, right? But you see you're out to the side like your twisted crow was. Then you're going to lift up because we're coming out of a twist, just like we were in that one. Then I bring that bottom leg forward. And I got to I keep bending my elbows. My face is pretty close to the floor. Then I can extend my legs out. Extending your legs is going to be last, right? That's moving further away. And then when you're ready, start to unwind. Take the legs out, lay back, take the legs out straight, reach the arms up overhead. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Well, we say like feel that space that you make, right? We leave here feeling a little taller, a little decompressed, a little more connected. Hug those knees to your chest. Give yourself that little hug again. And then when you're ready, take those knees wide. Come to happy baby. Nice and wide with your knees so that they're wider than your shoulders. Neutral pelvis here is sacrum flat. And then with the knees nice and wide, start to gently draw the knees towards your ears so that you feel a stretch, not just on the insides of the thighs, but in the back of the hip as well. And then some of you might want to go to the back of the legs again. So maybe you reach one leg out or you reach both legs out. Maybe some of you are going to rock side to side a little bit. Whatever feels good here in the pose. And when you're ready, inhale the knees to center. Exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'm going to talk you through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do any pose that feels good to you. So here's we lay back, the legs stretch out, the feet gently roll open. The arms come along the sides. And feel those shoulders settle back. Maybe that open palm turns to the sky. And you let your head rest back. Maybe we let our eyes close. We'll let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth. So we let the body get heavy. Body gets heavy, the mind softens, it gets light. So it turns back to the breath. Here, that concentration goes to the exhale as it clears and removes, and it makes you some space. So that inhale can draw in something new, the change that you worked for through the practice. And the heart opens as it gets ready to take the practice into the yoga of life. It's going to apply what we did here. Everything from you focusing on your breath, to coming to this moment, to setting strong foundations and engaging yourself, to your expression. The heart's going to bring us back to the mat again to practice, to challenge ourselves again. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. Feeling each breath, your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, to your heart. We always say we reawaken a better version of ourselves. The fingers and the toes wiggle. Maybe the arms and the legs begin to stretch. Take that nice reach. When you're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Take your hands underneath your head, make a little pillow, and take a few breaths here. Giving yourself that chance to reacclimate. When you're ready, you can push your hands down. We'll meet together with our eyes closed, our hands in front of our hearts. The place we started, the place we practiced, and the place we finish. How we always move the yoga from the mat into the steps of our life. It's with that full and open, empowered, strengthened heart. One more time together to seal in our practice, our time with our Kula, our yoga family. Together, the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. Super fun as always. Thank you, Trina, home crew. Next week is my workshop on Friday. Arm balances and inversion. So sometimes some of you will like come to Friday and then we kind of get into the arm balances kind of quickly. So if that's something you want to do, go for it. If you're just coming for the workshop, be ready. We'll be getting into stuff kind of quickly.
Sign up on the computer.
Yes, you have to either sign up here or on a computer. Apple is not letting it happen, so you have to use either a computer or just here at the desk. If you got something feels weird or you got to talk about anything, grab me before I head out. Otherwise, I'll see y'all soon. Thanks, girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.